What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 47 of the Game Room Podcast. I'm your host, Rome, alongside my co-host, Dev,
What's up?
and producer, Jeff. How you guys doing tonight?
Tired as always.
Tired. Tired as always. Man, what a week it's been. From a Zelda movie, that's how the week last week started.
Yeah.
And Nintendo, in ultimate Nintendo fashion, it's like, it's the middle of an investor call at I think it was 9 o'clock at night. It's like, by the way, Shigeru Miyamoto's hacking our Twitter to let you know that there's a Zelda movie. But that's how the week started. And as we went on, big news happened. GTA we're talking about today, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 7, the Game Awards, which we will talk about in our topic for the show tonight. And we're also going to be giving our impressions on Modern Warfare 3 and Spider-Man 2. So, let's get right into the news. First up, Nintendo had their fiscal earnings report in Japan, and some interesting stuff to talk about. Firstly, in the material, you can see that their R&D expenses went up. So something's got to be coming because R&D this past year, that's I don't even know if that would be their next console. That's something further down, right? If it's R&D for this past year.
Yeah, you would assume so, right?
Right. And then another little thing that I really liked is that their digital sales declined this year. So maybe.
I saw that. It was 2% or 5% or something like that. It was really small.
But the physical sales did not go down.
Or it was the other way around, actually, wasn't it?
No, the digital sales.
Is this for Nintendo?
It's for Nintendo.
Oh, okay, it's for Nintendo.
Their digital sales declined this year.
Okay. Sony's digital went down. And Nintendo's physical went up, which is cool.
Right. And then another thing about the Nintendo earnings that we learned is that they're making a new development center and that it's been delayed so that way they can make it bigger. Last year, the company successfully purchased land next to its main headquarters in Kyoto and announced plans to build a new development center. The roughly 10,000 meter squared site, which Nintendo purchased for $34.7 million, will be the home of its new building, tentatively named Corporate Headquarters Development Center Building Number 2.
Yeah.
Gotta love the Nintendo naming there. The original plan was that the building would be 12 stories tall, and it would be completed in 2027. However, it was reported in August, and Nintendo was considering delaying the completion date by a year or more to make the building even bigger. In a presentation as part of its financial results briefing for the second quarter of the financial year, Nintendo has now confirmed Nikkei's report. There are plans to construct Corporate Headquarters Development Center Building Number 2, which is a tentative name, adjacent to Nintendo HQ, Nintendo stated. And they basically just...
I like that there's a little map.
Yeah, so they say that, we're now planning for it to be complete in 2028. The second development center will play an important role in strengthening our research and development capabilities. Another little fun fact, according to Nikkei, Nintendo hired 130 new graduates in fiscal year 2023, which is 50% more than 3 years ago. So everyone else is cutting jobs, Nintendo bringing people on.
That's really cool. And it sounds like they're really dedicated to whatever future they have. You know what I mean?
I think Nintendo is absolutely probably one of the best employers, not to the fans, but employers. If you work for Nintendo, that's got to be you're set.
Yeah.
They're not going to lay you off. Just go make your games you want to make. You know? That's right. And then number 2, the headlines. The last thing, no hat today from Dev.
Yeah, no hat today, Ty.
Everyone laying off employees, Nintendo buying 12-story buildings and hiring graduates.
Yeah.
What's up, Ty? So, and then lastly, number 2 in the headline, Nintendo was just kind of nonchalant. They're like, oh, by the way, guys, we have a live-action Zelda movie. And then the internet collectively went, wait, what?
Yeah.
That was legitimately the discourse on my Twitter feed.
It really
it happened, and people were like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Out of nowhere.
What did you just say? And then they announced it, and then the Nintendo of America account a couple minutes later was like, hey everyone, it's Shigeru Miyamoto. No video, just text. It's Shigeru Miyamoto here. We're making a Zelda movie.
After the Mario movie, I was like, oh, there most likely will be a Zelda movie.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was animated.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be animated, not live action.
Yeah, so Nintendo's foray into movies isn't stopping anytime soon. The company has now confirmed that it is working on a live-action adaptation of The Legend of Zelda. The movie will be directed by Wes Ball, best known for the Maze Runner trilogy and the upcoming Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto will serve as a producer alongside other producer Avi Arad. This is Miyamoto. This is the tweet that I was mentioning. This is Miyamoto. I've been working on a live-action Legend of Zelda film for many years now with Avi Arad-san, who has produced many mega-hit films, Miyamoto said in a statement posted on Twitter. We might be waiting a while for the movie, however, Miyamoto said. It will take time until its completion, but I hope you look forward to seeing it. And I'm sure he bowed after.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
had to. So we don't really know anything else.
Yeah, I wonder what this like.
So
what link they'll do.
So here are my initial.
Ocarina of Time feels like the easiest way to start if you're going game wise.
See, I disagree.
You think they'll do current?
I think they're totally just going to do Breath of the Wild.
You think so?
I think that Breath of the Wild is the easiest to adapt to, like do an adaptation for, without people getting upset about it.
Okay.
Like, I can't see.
Do you think that's a good introduction to Link though?
No. But it's what they're gonna do.
We'll see. They've been really good with legacy stuff with Mario. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
This is a legacy thing, and he said he's been working on this for a few years.
So I would, yeah. Sorry.
I just, it makes me think we're gonna see Link in a green tunic and old school.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's what I want. My first thought is I just feel like they're gonna do Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong. No, my second thought is like I really, as much as I want this to be good, I can't believe that it's gonna be. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not for a long time. I'm gonna operate under the assumption that we're talking like it's got to be like trailer 3, and I got to be feeling it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so. I think a first trailer or whatever it will be will get you hyped for it.
I hope so. I want it to be good. Obviously,
you're gonna hate the Summer Game Fest thing, and then it's gonna show
the worst Summer Games Fest ever, and then here's the Zelda movie.
I'm tired of movie trailers, and then it's gonna.
No, that would be the one time I would shut up.
Yeah.
Like, all right, fine, play this one. This one time.
Yeah. No, I think we got to see it. You got to see something, but with Miyamoto actively working on it and has been working on it for years, it says, like, it'll be.
Now, some people have expressed some concern with the producer, Avi Arad.
Really?
They're saying like he hasn't really had many hits in the last few years. He produced.
the Maze Runner stuff is pretty good.
Well, so that's the director, but so they're saying the producer, like he's kind of been coasting. So he produced the Raimi Spider-Man.
Okay.
And so people are like, he's kind of been coasting since then. But speaking of the Zelda movie, the director, Wes Ball, tweeted 13 years ago that he wanted to make a Legend of Zelda movie.
Miyamoto saw that. It was like,
Wes said on January 29th, 2010, at 4:55 in the morning, by the way,
this is on his
since I could never even hope to have the chance to direct it, the next big mocap avatar-like movie should be The Legend of Zelda. Now, this gives me so much faith. The fact that Wes Ball was like,
he's a fan.
Years ago, he's like, I want to make a Zelda movie.
So he's a fan, which is cool.
So this a great director choice. Still concerned about the producer, but okay, great.
Yeah. No, I think it's okay.
I'm terrified about the casting. I'm terrified about everything about this movie.
You don't want Chris Pratt to be Link?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Like, honestly,
you really want Chris Pratt? No.
I don't know. Maybe.
No.
I don't know what I want. I didn't want Chris Pratt to be Mario, and that worked out great. So what do I know?
That's true.
Not a.
It's gonna be Tom Holland. Yeah, they're gonna go young. They're gonna go young and probably an actor we haven't heard of. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it'll probably be someone like that. Yeah, I think you're right. But we'll have to see. I'll be keeping up on this, obviously, and I want this to be good, all my heart. I just don't know if I believe it yet.
Yeah, it's too early.
Okay. Yeah. See, if I were making a live action,
it has to be.
Movie,
they have to hit it out the park. They can't. They have to nail it though.
So if I was doing a live action Zelda movie, what I would honest to God do, and again, this is very high budget. I'm going Lord of the Rings style. I'm going.
I think
I'm going like top quality, like lean into the lore of Zelda. Like Link is your Frodo. You know, like make sure that like I don't know, like just live in that world and make that world something and
have it colorful though. Don't have it dark. You need to have it colorful.
We can go do Twilight Princess. Like dark.
No, I like maybe both. I love the color. Like just looking at your shirt right now, all those colors. Like Zelda's the colorful.
Not always.
I mean, even Twilight Princess is very like it's not muted. You know, it's
neither is Mask, but dark and colorful can be dark at the same time. But Moving on. Number 3 in the headlines because Devroro the week just didn't.
Well, before you move on, I just saw the trailer for the Avatar: The Last Airbender, the
Okay.
Netflix show. I'm very excited for that. I know you haven't watched it yet, which is insane to me that you haven't seen that show. It's
We watched like a couple episodes. We watched like 10
insane.
episodes.
A couple episodes
10 episodes. That's a lot.
of one of the greatest.
Well, you stopped coming over that month.
You weren't watching it with me. You were watching it with
No, I
Jackie.
was talking about-
No, I don't. I got you the set, but I never watched it with you. You were watching it with
That's not
Jackie.
true.
What do you mean? I never watched it with you. I
We
never
watched like 6 or 7 episodes. I was like, oh, okay, you're gonna come over next week, and you were like, yeah. And then I think you had like a doctor's appointment at the vet or something.
What do you mean? I come over here every Sunday. What are you talking about?
And anyways, we'll move on. Number 3 on the headlines. Rockstar tweeted out this past week. Next month marks the 25th anniversary of Rockstar Games. Thanks to the incredible support of our players worldwide, we have had the opportunity to create games we are truly passionate about. Without you, none of this would be possible, and we are so grateful to all of you for sharing this journey with us. In 1998, Rockstar Games was founded on the idea that video games could come to be as essential to culture as any other form of entertainment, and we hope that we have created games you love in our efforts to be part of that evolution. We are very excited to let you know that in early December, we will release the first trailer for the next Grand Theft Auto. We look forward to many more years of sharing these experiences with all of you. Thank you, Sam. So it's gonna be at the Game Awards, right?
Yeah.
Like, what else is going
I
on?
didn't
in
think it was going to be
December?
the Game Awards until you said it earlier, and I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Ty, yeah, he has not seen it.
I've seen like 10 episodes of it.
Insane.
I've seen like 10 episodes of
You
it.
gotta watch.
I've seen a lot of it.
Just gotta watch all of it.
I'm trying. I'm working on Star Wars right now. Oh,
No, there's no such thing. We don't talk about that.
no, there is. No, there is. I was gonna watch that first.
No.
Actually.
So there's a live action show on Netflix. Watch the trailer, Jeff, if you're like an Avatar fan.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to Grand Theft Auto though. I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, it's Rockstar. We know what we get out of Rockstar, and it's.
I know they're taking a long time for this game, but I just don't want them to be rushed. People are rushing them heavy, and it's
So did you see the trend that's going on this week?
No.
So it was post a picture of what you looked like when GTA 5 came,
Okay.
and post a picture now.
That's actually a pretty cool trend.
It's been really fun. Like some of it's really funny, and then some of it's like, shit, like it's been a long 10 years.
Yeah.
So you can see like a lot of these people, especially like the games media and like a lot of the, influencers. It's just like you've aged terribly. It's been a rough 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be, which we will be doing a live watch. Number 4 on the headlines. Some sad news, but it was a game that we actually talked about on the podcast last week. I wanted to kind of include it. Not last week, but the Halloween special. Night in the Woods, the studio's follow-up, Revenant Hill, has been canceled due to developer illness. Revenant Hill, the next game by the makers of Night in the Woods, has been canceled. The reason is that the game's narrative designer and artist, Scott Benson, is battling a severe illness that has forced him to step away from the project. Benson reveals on his personal Twitter account that he's been suffering severe heart failure the past 2 months, which has greatly limited his ability to work. And you can see his post below. He says, so over the past 12 months or so, I got very sick, and it didn't go away. Eventually, I was diagnosed with severe heart failure, most likely from a virus. It will continue to greatly limit me for the foreseeable future, and as such, I've had to stop working as I once did. Revenant Hill, the game, was shown off at, I believe, the PlayStation Showcase this past summer. And yeah, just really sucks to hear. I mean, obviously, hopefully Scott gets better. But like, this is a kind of a blow to me because I love Night in the Woods. We were talking about this on the Halloween show when you weren't here.
Yeah.
But like, I loved this game. I actually bought the physical copy from Limited Run Games, so I actually have a physical copy.
How big is the studio? Do you know?
Not very big.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's for them to stop, like for the game to be postponed like that. He has to be a big.
So the Glory Society, the studio making Revenant Hill, posted a statement on Twitter, which is now the sole image on the company's website, explaining that Benson's absence requires the team to not only development of the game, but also to suspend operations entirely.
Yeah.
The indie studio was founded by Benson and his wife, Bethany Hockenberry, who also stepped away from the project to support him. The statement explains that with such a small team of employees, Losing 2 key staff members was too much of a blow for work to continue, as the Glory Society statement reads in part. And basically they're like, yeah, it's just too many challenges. The Doge has arrived. What's up, Doge?
Welcome.
Yeah, that was the style that Night in the Woods was in too.
I think the trailer for the next game is in the article. If you scroll down, you can see the artwork in it. Like,
Yeah,
they make really pretty games, and it looks the same as
yeah, it's a gorgeous game. Like, it's just so gorgeous. I'm really upset. Obviously, I hope the developer feels better, and obviously, personal health is always going to come first. But like, man, I was so looking forward to it.
Yeah, that sucks.
But hopefully, hopefully he can get well soon and get back to doing what he loves. Oh boy! So speaking of things, he's doing what they love. Elon Musk, Devroro. He loves just destroying platforms. Elon Musk says he's going to look into PlayStation and Xbox removing Twitter integration. Until recently, both consoles, as well as the Nintendo Switch, have allowed players to post their captured screenshots and videos directly to Twitter from the console. However, Microsoft announced in April it had to disable the feature. Quote, had to. And earlier this week, Sony confirmed plans to do the same. Although the reason for this hasn't been officially stated, it may be related to sweeping changes to Twitter's API, which appeared to be designed to make larger corporations on the platform pay significant amounts of money for access to the API. On Tuesday, Twitter account X News Daily posted that Twitter's plans to be a major streaming platform will be less convenient for console players now that Xbox and PlayStation integration is gone. Replying to the post, Musk said, I will look into this. Deborah, what do you think Elon Musk is going to find when he looks into this?
I don't know. I don't think he's going to give those companies an exemption from this. So it kind of makes the share button on your controller is kind of useless now.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like a lot of these, you hit the share button and it goes straight to.
Well, for PlayStation specifically, Xbox, the share button just kind of screen caps it, and then you can share it once it uploads. But PlayStation's is legitimately.
They're gonna have to find. Facebook or Threads, something else, Instagram.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It is what it is, I guess. What an idiot. Number 6 in the headlines. Another week, Devroro. More bad news for him. Almost feels like it's not even almost feels like it is a weekly occurrence.
Yeah.
For the past 6 months, the Doge says Twitter was built on gamers being able to hit that share button, share amazing clips. I know, Doge. It's an absolute shame. I've used it. Share button. If you go back, my first tweet I think was legitimately like a Minecraft screenshot, where it was like, "Wow, you can share to Facebook now or share to Twitter now." And I remember hitting the button on the 360 and like, "Oh, you're sharing it. You shared it. This is cool."
Yeah, that is cool.
But
that's cool.
But no more. Moving on. For the past 6 months, Embracer has been carrying out a restructuring program, which has already seen some game studios closed and projects canceled. This includes studios like Saints Row developer Volition and Campfire Cabal, while others have reportedly been put on sale, such as Borderlands maker Gearbox. According to people close to Free Radical Design, the Nottingham UK-based studio has been part of the evaluation, and employees have now been notified that it could close. As required by UK employment law, PlayOn, the Embracer division which runs Free Radical, must consult employees for a minimum of 30 days before making any redundancy, including exploring ways of avoiding this. There remains a possibility that the studio could remain open then, should Embracer receive interest from third parties interested in acquiring. However, VGC and analysis of LinkedIn and social media shows within just the last 24 hours of the news breaking out, at least 15 people employed at Free Radical have already published posts saying they're looking for work. This includes the lead game designer, senior artist, senior technical artist, game designer, and the studio's IT. Neither Free Radical, PlayOn, nor Embracer responded to requests for comment in time to be included in this story from VGC. Embracer's next earning release is due next week. It's not yet clear what the closure would mean for the future of Time Splitters, the classic first-person shooter series the new Free Radical was re-established to revive. Obviously, to have Time Splitters, cult classic, very popular game.
Yeah.
And just another project that's going to get ruined.
I just wonder when. I imagine it's going to be soon, but we're going to start talking about companies acquiring these studios from Embracer, these studios and IPs.
So. I honestly just hope, like, I know obviously I don't want anyone to lose their jobs, but if we could save one, I really hope Xbox buys Crystal Dynamics. I think that would be such a good fit for them.
It just makes sense because they're already working on a Xbox first party.
Right.
So yeah, that just makes sense.
I hope so. But we will have to. I'm sure we'll be hearing about that in the next few weeks.
Yeah, we will.
The next up on the headlines, number 7. Devroro, Sony has confirmed it's delaying, not canceling like GameSpot, but delaying half of its 12 planned live service games. SIE had previously said it planned to have 12 live service titles in the market by its fiscal year ending in March 2026, up from 3 during its last business year ended this March. However, earlier this year, PlayStation's management confirmed that it had partnered with Destiny Studio Bungie for a rigorous portfolio review process. According to these press reports, this had led some projects to being scaled back. During an earnings call on Thursday, Sony President, COO, and CFO Hiroki Toki, love that, seemingly confirmed that this review had resulted in some games being pushed back due to quality concerns. We are reviewing this. We are trying as much as possible to ensure these games are enjoyed and liked by gamers for a long time, he said. Of the 12 titles, 6 titles will be released by fiscal year 25. That's our current plan. As for the remaining 6 titles, we are still working. That's the total number of live service and multiplayer titles, and mid to long term, we want to push this kind of service. And that's the unchanged policy of the company. It's not like we stick to certain titles, but game quality should be the most important.
It sounds like bad news, but I think in when you read it, it's very much good news. You don't want 12 live service games coming out in a fiscal. You know what I mean?
Like, no, for sure. But I think where I lean on it,
6 is still a lot. But
yeah, 6 is still a lot.
Yeah.
The way I lean on it though is that it really is kind of further cementing that PlayStation is committing to this live service game.
Oh yeah,
not game, but like this live service method.
Yeah,
like it's not going away, and that's the thing. That's why I thought it was really funny. Like again, it's weird PlayStation bias in the games, where GameSpot, when they reported on it, they reported that these games were canceled, but they weren't canceled. Late, like Sony is still. This is still the vision that Sony is working towards.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think it's going to pay off, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. Again, they always have their. I don't think they're going to stray away from first person single player story driven games. Mm-hmm. I think they need a revenue thing. Live service gets you that.
Speaking of live service games, number 8 on the headline, Warner Brothers is going to continue to push live service. Warner Brothers doesn't seem to think there's too many live service games, and it intends to push more of them out. During its recent earnings call, CEO David Zaslav, a good friend of CM Punk, said the company's main priority with games remains a transition to live services. Our focus is on transforming our biggest franchises from largely console and PC based with 3 to 4 year release schedules to include more always on a gameplay through live services, multi-platform, and free-to-play extensions, with the goal to have more players spending more time on more platforms. Ultimately, we want to drive engagement and monetization of longer cycles and at higher levels. We have put specific capabilities. We are currently under scale and see significant opportunity to generate greater post-purchase revenue. The most recent games released by Warner Brothers are Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 1. Both games have seen success in sales, with Hogwarts Legacy selling over 12 million copies in its first 2 weeks, and Mortal Kombat 1, according to Zaslav, moving nearly 3 million copies since launch. He says that the IP is there and it's time for the company to capitalize. So, I mean, Dev, I mean, we've had the live service
Mm-hmm.
conversation, hearing back. Like, do you think that it's wise for Warner Brothers, like, especially looking at their successes this year in not live service games? I mean, they put out Hogwarts Legacy, very successful single player game.
Yeah.
They put out Mortal Kombat 1, very successful fighting game. And you would think that that would be the structure, the business model they're going to work on. I mean, it's working, and they're making this pivot.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where fighting games fit the live service model. It's all cosmetics. You got your fighters, you get new fighters, you get new cosmetics. That already fits like that's there for you. That's an easy grab to turn into live service.
Right.
I don't know what I imagine Hogwarts Legacy or any Harry Potter style game being live service. It sounds amazing if they can do it right. Like they have the open world Hogwarts Legacy. People love that game. If you can have it where other students or other people and you're going around doing missions and like exploring and stuff. I don't know. That sounds really cool.
Yeah,
Will
but
it
I
be
mean,
like that? I don't know.
I mean, live service games, even with good IP, aren't like the Avengers.
Oh no, that's awful. Yeah,
it's a terrible game.
But like I said before, it's not.
First 8 hours were good though.
The IP doesn't make a game good. The game, it has to be a good game.
Yeah, I
first
agree.
and foremost. Yeah,
which is live service.
That's not right. That's not true. Okay. Anthem and Avengers didn't work because they were bad games.
Those were the biggest of all of them.
Yeah.
So clearly they must be the best.
No, they weren't the biggest. You still got Fortnite. You still got Destiny.
It's neither.
But it okay.
Let's move on. Number 9 on the headline. Baldur's Gate 3 has reached a new level of optimization achieved from the Xbox Series S. I'm sure you're wondering how. Because obviously the previous stories were that the whole reason the Xbox version isn't out yet is because they could not get it to work on the Series S.
Yeah.
Well, little things can often matter a lot, and when it comes to streamlining a game's memory usage, every gigabyte counts. One of the developers at Larian, makers of Baldur's Gate 3, has shown that the team's recent hard work has resulted in a 34% reduction in VRAM usage for the forthcoming Xbox Series S version. The good news was shared by Swen Vink on Twitter, who we've quoted last week, via short post with 2 graphs showing the RAM and VRAM. Is it VRAM or just RAM? Is there a way to say that correctly?
No, it's VRAM.
Okay,
yeah.
Just making sure. Loads of the Series S port of Baldur's Gate 3 have been significantly reduced in recent weeks. It's worth noting that out of all platforms that Larian has developed its masterpiece for, the Xbox Series S is probably the most restricted. This is because it only has 8 gigabytes of high bandwidth memory to store the game while running and use as VRAM. The remaining 2 gigabytes get used for system functions. The graph started at the beginning of September, with the game using just over 5.2 gigabytes for general game RAM and around 3.5 gigabytes for VRAM. By November, though, Larian has shaved this down to 4.7 gigabytes and 2.3 gigabytes respectively. The RAM reduction is a pretty decent 10% drop, but the reduction in VRAM usage is a massive 34%. Clearly, we have no idea what Larian has specifically done to achieve this, but it's unlikely to just be a case of rendering at a lower resolution or using smaller texture. The evidence for this is that the memory testing shows only small improvements throughout September and October. If merely lowering the settings was the only thing it required, then the developers would have done this much. They do go on to say that this reduction that they figured out will be used in all future updates, including PC. So all consoles, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever they've done to figure out how to get it to run as good as it is, they're going to apply that to all versions.
Okay.
So the Xbox Series S has made Baldur's Gate 3 the best game it can, which I think is pretty fun. Ty says, Larian said Xbox fans pay attention to their next post. Yes, Ty, that will be later on the headlines. Thank you. All right, next up. Number 10 on the headline. Devroro, we have the ESRB rating for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And I was going to read it because there was something in here that stood out to me.
Okay.
And you'll see. As a Final Fantasy, if you know Final Fantasy VII, you'll know where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So the game is rated T for teen. This is an action role-playing game in which players follow the story of a mercenary, Cloud Strife, on a quest to save the planet from evil. Players explore fantasy landscapes, perform missions, and battle monsters and soldiers in frenetic melee combat. Characters use swords, staffs, guns, and magic spells to fight monsters and human soldiers. Combat is highlighted by impact sounds, cries of pain, and explosions. Cutscenes depict further instances of violence, sometimes with splatters / pools of blood. Characters impaled or slashed by swords, sometimes with slow motion effects, an assassin throwing a spinning blade at a targeted figure, characters shot by soldiers. Some female characters are designed with revealing outfits, deep cleavage. Suggestive dialogue sometimes accompanies camera panning close-ups of characters' bodies. E.g., just admit, you're obviously captivated by my bodacious beach bod. The game contains some alcohol content. As Cloud, players can drink a version of moonshine while at a bar. Cutscene sometimes features drunk characters slurring their speech. A handful of scenes depict characters smoking cigars or out of hookahs. The words, shit, asshole, and prick appear in. So yeah, somebody's getting impaled with a sword, Devroro.
I wonder who.
I wonder who, Devroro.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, that too. Well, at least we already know it's coming. I mean,
Yeah.
we knew it was coming
Yeah.
eventually. It was just a matter of time.
You think there's anyone out there playing this for the first time and not
I can't believe you spoiled Final Fantasy VII for me. Ugh, sorry. So sorry.
We didn't spoil it. We didn't even say who.
Yeah, we didn't say that Aerith gets stabbed. Wait. Oh. No.
There you have it. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert to Final Fantasy VII, which came out in 97? 98? 99? Something like that? 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking forward to playing. Can't wait. Number 11. This actually just happened right before we went live.
Okay.
So, more layoffs, Devroro.
Oh, there they are.
There they are. I feel like it's a competition at this point. It's like, all right, who's going to do it this week? Like, Embracer's been kind of running away with this. Amazon was like, see what we can do. Amazon Games is laying off. After laying off 100 employees in April, Amazon Games is holding another round of layoffs with 180 employees set to lose their jobs, according to a new report from Aftermath. In an internal email, Amazon Games VP Christoph Hartmann says part of the reason for the layoffs is the company listening to customers. We've listened to our customers, and we know delivering free games every month is what they want. So, we are refining our Prime benefit to increase our focus, he said. With these changes in our business approach, some changes to our resourcing, resulting in the elimination of just over 180 roles. Along with the layoffs, Amazon is shutting down and letting go its Crown channel on Twitch, as well as the entire game growth. I know this is difficult news that the impact will be felt widely. Hartmann continued. We are proud of the work the teams have been doing, pushing into new areas with weekly content on Crown channel, finding more ways to help publishers reach new audiences with game growth. But after further evaluation of our business, it's become clear that we need to focus our resources and efforts to deliver great games to players now. Kind of a funny way to do it is like, hey, don't blame us. It's the customer.
Yeah.
You're fired because of the customer.
They just want free games. They don't want developers.
Yeah, they don't want new games. They just want free games. What a dumb thing to think. Just absolutely just brain. All right. Number 12 in the headline. Speaking of Baldur's Gate, Larian teased some big news earlier on Monday, today. The game was nominated for 8 prizes at the Game Awards, which we'll talk about. As part of a larger message responding to Larian signed off with Xbox fans and fans of physical media. So basically me. It's like Rome. Xbox fans and fans of physical media. Watch this space for a formal announcement. It's going to be a busy week. Eyes above. So obviously we're going to get the release date for Xbox along with plans for a physical announcement. And, again, I appreciate this. Obviously Larian and an indie studio, believe it or not. Like they couldn't afford to make do a physical run. So they have this game come out. It's a huge hit and they're like, "You know what? We got the money now. Let's get those physical copies rolling." And you know what? I really, like, no jokes, I appreciate the hell out of it. Like, that's so cool. So, I'm glad that not only is it coming to Xbox, it's coming as a physical. So I will purchase
I was reading what Ty said earlier.
it. Mm-hmm.
If they can get it on Game Pass, that'd be amazing.
That would be a huge get for them.
Yeah, that would be a huge get.
That would be a crazy announcement for the Game Awards. Be like, it's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, that would be.
But so I'm looking forward to that, and we will be talking about the Game Awards in a few minutes. But for now, let's move on to. So this next part of the show is actually not really headlines so much, although I do have a few headlines about Call of Duty. It's time to give some impressions, Devroro. I've had a busy week. I wrapped up Starfield. Starfield review coming next week. But I've been playing Call of Duty. I've been playing my Spider-Man, and I went and saw Five Nights at Freddy's. So I want to. Hilarious. Baldur's Gate 3 cost like 159 million to. Well, you know, and now they have the money to, you know, they made the sales, and now they're going to put out a physical copy. So that's great. So I want to give some impressions on some stuff, kind of tell you about the time I've had. Let's start with Call of Duty. So I picked up Modern Warfare 3 at launch on Friday. Number one, completely not about the game at all. The installation, ridiculous. So
For
Modern Warfare 3. So it made me install Modern Warfare 3 itself, which, you know, that's how games are nowadays. And it was a really hefty install. No, Ty, not sure they couldn't afford physical. So I go to download it, and I'm like, all right, cool. It finishes installing after like 25 minutes. I'm like, all right, cool. Go to launch it. Oh, Call of Duty needs stuff. First of all, I'm like, what Call of Duty are you talking about exactly? Because there's one every year. And it's not like, usually they're labeled like Modern Warfare 3, like the name of the game. And so I'm like, all right, well, I guess update Call of Duty if you're telling me I have to be updated before I launch the game. And it gives me this 130 gigabyte update. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Devroro, Modern Warfare 3, as we've discussed, but now I can say it more officially, it is DLC. We reported on this earlier in the year, that this was originally planned to be an. However, can confirm.
Oh, so the game that updates is
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. So Modern Warfare 2, it's in the game, it changes to just Call of Duty now. And here's when I knew. So obviously we reported 2 weeks ago that there was no platinum trophy for Modern. When I boot up the achievements for Modern Warfare 3, it says I have 1,000 out of 2,000 gamer score for Modern Warfare 3 because it's just DLC for Modern Warfare 2. Yeah. But it has been confirmed by a report published in Bloomberg that it took just 16 months to develop Modern Warfare 3, which did start life as a piece of downloadable content to expand on last year's Modern Warfare 2. This news came following a slew of internal murmurings from Sledgehammer Games developers, some of whom were confused about the base nature of the follow-up game and left exhausted by the crunch schedule to finish the game in such a short window following the transition from DLC to full release. So like I said, I've played, I would say I've played about 10 hours of Modern Warfare. Maybe a little bit less. Let's go with like 8 hours. I have not played the campaign yet, although I've talked to people that have, and they've been very negative on it. As we talked about last week, it's very short, about 3 to 4 hours. It's basically a bunch of open missions happening in the war zone, which, as someone who really loves the Call of Duty campaigns, very disheartened by this. Multiplayer, I would say the multiplayer, it's DLC. It like, here's the thing, like, people that don't really know Call of Duty, who just say like, oh, it's the same game every year. This is the time where you can say it. It's the same game. And if anything, it's worse because they try to make some changes for like the sake of it being different.
Yeah.
Like in the unlocks and stuff. Like, so I'm like level 25. I just turned level 25 in the game. And my friend who was playing more than me, because I split time between Call of Duty and Spider-Man, he was like, oh, when you reach level 25, you can unlock stuff, but you have to like, it used to be you unlock stuff by leveling up or by doing challenges based off that gun. But now it's like you have to, he told me you have to reach a certain level and then do daily challenges and then use those daily challenges to unlock the gear, which obviously sets how much gear you can unlock. If there's only 3 daily challenges a day,
Yeah.
There's only so much you can unlock. Very lame. Yes, thank you. Yeah. So lame. The one nice thing I will say about Modern Warfare 3 is that the Modern Warfare 2 maps, the original Modern Warfare 2 maps, 2009, they are all back, and they're true to the original. However, spawns, I for some reason, these maps have been out for 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
Spawns are broken on some of them.
Yeah, that's
This comes from IGN, but I can confirm this after personal playtime. Modern Warfare 3 came out, and bad spawns are causing maps to be pulled from the rotation of certain modes. One map in particular, Quarry, when played on hardpoint, was found to spawn players in the same spot over and over again. And here you can see here's the video, Dev. Hopefully Jeff is showing. Here are the players just spawning, and spawning, and spawning, and the other team is just standing there, gunning them down.
Oh, I'd be so
Look at this
mad.
team. They're just like, look, you kick it out of the corner. It's one corner. It's not even like a side of the map. It's just one corner.
Yeah, I'd be so pissed.
So they've pulled that from the rotation. But it gets worse. Activision hasn't just pulled Quarry. They've also pulled Rundown and Scrapyard for the same reason. Activision removed Karachi from the Cutthroat playlist as well, while they work on resolving an issue causing a player to spawn alongside enemies. I was playing, so I've had some bad spawns, but I had one case similar to this video that Jeff was showing and that we were watching, where we were playing on Terminal, and we were just in a corner. It was team deathmatch too, which made it even worse. Because it's like you just can't do anything in team deathmatch.
Yeah.
You just have to score. You have to get kills. So we got cornered on the runway, and we just couldn't do anything about it. And they got all these kill streaks, and it was probably one of the fastest games of TDM I've ever played. Very disheartening, an extremely disheartening thing, especially considering these maps are 14 years old, and you should probably know how to spawn.
Yeah.
So Modern Warfare 3 has been very disappointing for that reason. I mean, obviously, I mentioned it last week. I bought it for the social, because all my friends, I have my Call of Duty friends. Every year we get together, we play the Call of Duty games, and throughout the year, some of us fall off, some of us stick with it, depending on how good the game is. And this year, actually, are the lowest turnout of our friend group for Modern Warfare 3. Yeah. So it's really unfortunate. Really sucks. The zombies mode is fine, because I have played the zombies. It's basically last year's DMZ mode, but with zombies, which that depends on if you like it or not. I personally am indifferent, but I prefer the older style of zombies that I've showed you. But that's just me. Now, Devroro, I know you're probably asking yourself, well, is this really the worst Call of Duty of all time?
Is it?
With numerous reviews still to be published, the game has a Metacritic score of 50. The next lowest game, 2021's Call of Duty Vanguard, with a score of 73. So we're talking the next lowest Call of Duty game, 23 points higher on Metacritic. Yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah. You were mentioning another game mode that you liked a lot. What was it? Invasion?
So Ty in the chat says, Xbox is going to have to make a decision for COD next year. Delay it, get help from ID and Coalition. The next one, or id and Coalition. The next one maybe isn't looking great either. So I will actually disagree with that. So this one was specifically set up this way, and we know that. Reports came out earlier this week that Sledgehammer, who made this game, they had pitched to do a sequel to Advanced Warfare, which you haven't played yet. But they had pitched it to do their own sequel. And Activision told them, no, we want you to get ready to make an expansion of this. So they took them away from that, and instead of going on their own 3-year cycle as these games do, they were 16 months to go make.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate, and it's kind of ironic that Activision sold right as they made their worst Call of Duty
I mean, this was definitely something that was in the plans. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
for sure. Like again,
Yeah.
like the console bullshit, the console war bullshit was crazy this past week. Where it's like, oh well, Xbox bought Call of Duty and now Call of Duty sucks. Like you realize
No,
that
this
like
is
Xbox has nothing to do with Modern Warfare 3's
yeah,
quality.
no. Just something. It sounds almost like, hey, we're a company that's giving we're
Yeah,
selling.
we're on our
We
way
need to
out.
cash in.
Let's just coast.
Yeah, we
This
need
is
to.
senioritis right
Yeah,
here. This is
yeah.
what senioritis looks like
We need
by
the
corporations.
we need one more cash out before we're done.
Yeah,
That's what this sounds like.
yeah. So it's unfortunate. I next year's Call of Duty will be Treyarch's, which will probably be a Black Ops. I would assume. I'm not worried about it. Treyarch has kind of proven to be like the best Call of Duty developer in recent years. So,
Okay.
I mean, obviously we have to wait and see what happens. But Modern Warfare 3, and this is not a formal review. I mean, obviously, pretty sure we know where it's going. But I'll be following up hopefully within the next month with a more formal review score and
Okay.
especially after I get my hands on the campaign and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's Modern Warfare 3. I saw Five Nights at Freddy's movie yesterday. Not going to go into a full review here, but it was really good. I really liked it. It was really true to the games, which for me, when it comes to like an adaptation from a video game, like that's what I'm really looking for. Like,
I agree.
I don't need it to 100% follow the games to a T in terms of like story or where we go or anything like that. But I need to feel like they understood the source material and like are true to the games in terms of how the universe operates.
I agree.
And Five Nights at Freddy's, for me, the movie, absolutely nails that. Like,
It was kind of what was great about the Mario movie too. Where like
exactly.
it's a very shallow story, like whatever.
Yeah.
But it's very true to the
Yeah,
Mario
like
games.
you
So,
you could tell that they really sat down like, hey, we know Mario, let's make a Mario.
yeah.
The same was seen here,
Okay.
where
That's
it's
cool.
just seeing the animatronics live action. Like, funny because we went and saw it. Like Jackie and I went and saw it. She was, just, wow, look at Foxy running around. This is crazy. And it's just, yeah, man. It's just, it's really,
That's
really
cool. You like to see that for an IP, like.
And like, yes, like we saw things coming plot wise because we like her and I, like we always used to watch like the Markiplier videos
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
we watched the Map Pack game
You got deep into the
theories.
lore stuff.
So we know the lore. And so like we were like, oh, like we called the villain, like we called things like before they happened.
Okay.
Like, okay, but it was still very enjoyable, really cool. So I definitely recommend the movie. This is one of those things where it's like definitely don't listen to the critics. The critics on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it was at like 30%. Or like 30, like it was in the 30s. But the audience score was like 89. And like it's definitely more of like an 89 than a 30.
Yeah.
So,
I think again you saw that with the Mario movie where the critic score was a lot lower than the like
at the end of the day, people just want stuff that's like, and that's what it is. Like the critics are looking at this as a film, as a movie. And like, look, if you don't get Five Nights at Freddy's, you're not going to get this.
Yeah.
Like, why are these animatronics like ghosts, children, dead children? What the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Why is there a security guard at a closed down pizzeria? Like, look, if you don't know the lore, you're not going to get it. Or if you're not willing to learn the lore, you're not going to get it.
Which is that's me. I like the first game. I know the story for the first game. Everything after that, it was like
I would say that you can still enjoy the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we should watch it. Like, I'm going to get it on Blu-ray when I think we should definitely. And then last up, before we do the releases for the week, and then our topic, which is the Game Awards, Dev, let's talk about Spider-Man 2. So I've been playing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Again, much like Call of Duty, single-digit hours in. Really liking it so far. However, and we were talking about this, and it's funny because you were here, you experienced it. I'm actually having more bugs with Spider-Man 2 than I did with Starfield. I've had clipping issues where like I'll clip through like skyscrapers and I can't get out, so I have to reload saves. I've had some audio issues. I had the game crash on me. You were here.
Yeah.
Where a side mission ended the way I've never seen it end before. So I don't even know if it actually is supposed to happen that way. But like I failed and then the game crashed. You know, that was weird. But that being said, like really loving the story. Game is visually very impressive. Playing as Spider-Man is just so much fun. The gameplay, really enjoying it. I love that you can fly now with the flight suit. That has made traversing like so much better. Just all the locations you can go to, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward again, much like Call of Duty. We'll do more of a formal review once I like get through the game and finish it and stuff like that. But kind of wanted to just like drop some initial thoughts here. It's going great. A lot of set pieces. I like the set pieces a lot.
That's cool.
The side content is very similar to the first game. So like, if you've played the first game, you definitely know what you're getting here. Like other than story stuff, you know what you're getting. But it's still a great game. I also like how flawlessly you can jump between the two.
Yeah, that was pretty.
That is
me
pretty
that.
dope. But that is it for Spider-Man 2 for now. Let's get into the game releases for the week of November 13th. Coming up first, tomorrow, November 14th, Hogwarts Legacy finally comes out on Switch. I'm sure that port's going to be phenomenal.
We'll be talking about that next week.
Yeah, right. Invincible presents Adam Eve. Comes out on PC November 14th. Turok.
That's a game?
Yeah, why? What do you know of it?
Invincible is the show. Adam Eve is the character in a show. She got her own episode.
Oh, Invincible. Yeah, I know Invincible. Yeah.
Right. So I didn't know there was a game for that. Okay. All right.
Cool.
I had no idea.
Well, that's why we do the podcast, so people know. Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion Remastered comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 14th. Teardown comes out on the PS5 and Xbox Series on November 15th. The Last Faith comes to PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on November 15th. Assassin's Creed Nexus, Assassin's Creed Nexus VR comes to the Quest on the 16th. Flashback 2 comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 16th. Naruto is it Boruto?
Yeah.
Ultimate Ninja Storm Connection comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch on November 17th. No PC version. Interesting. Persona 5 Tactica comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on November 17th. This is also coming to Game Pass. I know that one is for sure. Super Mario RPG comes out on the Nintendo Switch on November 17th. And lastly, the Jurassic Park Classic Games Collection. I'm assuming comes out on the 17th because my notes cut off, but it's PS5, Xbox Series, and I assume PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
I already know what your game of the week is. I know which one.
Yeah, what's your pick?
Before I choose my pick, I'm actually really glad they're still making the Ninja Storm games. The Ninja Storm games are so much fun. They're my second favorite fighting game after Smash Brothers.
Okay.
But no one ever plays it because like you have to like Naruto, I guess. To play these games.
Ninjas in orange jumpsuits, kind of lame. I get it. Yeah.
No, it's such a good game, such a good fighting game.
I feel like they just come out with so many of them. Like, what makes them different? Like, what differentiates?
I think it's more characters, and they just add more story stuff into the world. Yeah.
But it's one of those things you play one, you played them all.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. So is that your pick for the week? Or?
No, my pick for the week is Assassin's Creed Next for VR. It's gonna make me so sick.
I can't wait. You're buying it, right?
Yeah, of course.
You're bringing it over, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be so sick. I'm gonna be so nauseous. I'll buy ginger ale.
It's gonna be sick in every single possible way.
Yeah. I'm excited for that game. Though.
Dude, I can't. Assassin. So yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Look. Yeah. I've been looking at the Vero as I've been going, and it's a fighting game, but it's also like I don't know. I had no idea this. Yeah.
Kind of looks like Pokemon. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, not very good B-roll to sell a game. That's for sure. Okay. Well, Jeff, would you like to make another pick, or are you just you're gonna bow out on this then? I completely agree.
There is a lot. There's so many. I mean, shooters on VRs. There's so many already. I just gotta like.
Well, again, like Dev.
I mean, yeah. But they're so like Super Hot is really good in VR. Crisis Brigade, I think it's called, or Vergade. It's essentially Time Crisis, but it's inspired by Time Crisis. So like, it's one of those kind of games where you're shooting and then it takes you to another era and you shoot again. Like there's a bunch. There's rhythm games where you're just shooting. Like there's a cowboy one.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it's called, but yeah, shooters in VR. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, you
Have
bringing
you-
over
have
the
you-
Quest has like it's really made me a believer in the tech, and I just want to play more games in it.
And
Like,
as soon as you like, eventually, I think you'll get a VR. I don't know, like down the road, you'll get one.
yeah, like I want the PSVR 2 to be good. Like I think that's what I kind of want to hold out for.
And
But it's like part of me is like, man, if it's not going to be, I just want to get a Quest.
no. So the thing is, it is good, but it's just gaming.
Yeah, I know, but like they're not. There's not a lot of support.
Oh yeah, I mean,
But so my pick for the week, luckily, Assassin's Creed Nexus would have been my second pick, but you picked it, so I don't have to pick it.
yeah.
So I'm going to pick Super Mario RPG.
I know that was the one.
We are so fucking back. We are so back. The Mario RPG gang. We sat around. I remember sitting around in high school telling Tazveer and all those guys that friggin' Paper Mario is better than Final Fantasy VII, and Ivan looked at me like I was crazy, and I was like, you know what? I don't even know if I believe this, but because you don't believe it, I believe it.
Double down.
I doubled down because it's one of my bits. It's like if you try to push back on an opinion I feel like average about, some like it's like roll a dice. It's like, oh, I rolled a 20. Like, okay, well, I'm doubling down on but no, I love the Mario RPGs, and I'm so happy that they're coming back. It's great. And that's my pick for the week. Ty says, don't bother with the PSVR 2. Not enough support. Sony's happy to take it back. Yeah, that's my point, Ty. I want it to be good, and I want to get it, but it's just not. It's not going to happen. So I'm probably going to end up getting a Quest.
So the thing I have heard about the PSVR 2 is that if there's a game already out and it's ported to the PSVR 2, it plays the best on PSVR 2 because of eye tracking. The controllers are basically PS5 controllers. Like, it has a lot of stuff going for it game wise, but like, it is still attached to a wire. Which I mean, you're gonna be. I mean, if you're sitting down and playing much, that's not too much of a bad thing. But having the freedom of like there are no wires attached to me, different. You know what I mean? Like
there are no strings on me.
Yeah, and then like you can scan your room and you just play in your room. You like
again,
there's
like,
a lot of cool things.
I'm so blown away by the Quest and the technology that it has. If Meta wants to sponsor the podcast, I am for sale.
Yeah,
I'm already very interested in your product.
Yeah.
So. But no, I'm excited. This is like a low key, really cool week, where it's like Assassin's Creed Nexus. I want to play Persona 5 Tactica as well. I don't know if I'm going to get around to that anytime soon, but that looks really good.
You could also wait for whatever Valve. I mean, you'll be waiting for a while, but whatever Valve's releasing next, in terms of VR, is going to be a standalone, and it's going to be. Who knows?
Yeah. But let's move on. Let's get into the topic of the show. Devroro, the Game Awards. The nominations drop.
Have you already voted?
I have not. We're going to vote together here live. Log in real quick. So we're going to run through, we're going to react, and we're going to vote as we...
Oh, they're starting off.
We'll skip the Game of the Year for now.
I mean, that's the first one.
Can you skip it?
I mean, yeah, I guess you can go next.
Yeah, we're gonna... I mean, if you want, we could do the Game of the... Hold on. I wish. Okay, I think I can...
No, yeah, that's like...
Yeah, you hit next. Hit view all categories. All right, let's start with...
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
There
you go.
All right. Just start from second one?
Best game direction? We're going to start with best game direction. And now, mind you, Deborah has not looked at these, and I've looked at some, but not... And like Game of the Year I looked at, and like one other thing I looked at. But we'll talk about it. So let's start off with best game direction.
Wait a minute, are these the same games?
They are. Okay. Best game direction. Minus Resident Evil.
Yeah,
Resident Evil doesn't have good enough game direction, which I actually think that game has very good direction. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Best game direction. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game design and direction. I don't know why I mixed those up. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. In terms of direction.
Yeah, based off just the description for awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in the game's direction.
Yeah.
I think I have to go with Tears of the Kingdom.
Really?
For something creative vision and innovation, I think for in terms of just innovation, period, Tears of the Kingdom. Like,
see, I
so many. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I was saying that there were so many things that, like, patented things that they added to the game where, like, just Ascend alone is like insane. Like, and then you have putting things together, you building your own creations in a Zelda game, and like having it work. It just works. Like the physics and like having a car, having mechs in a game. That screams like creative vision and innovation.
So you know what's really funny? I think we just interpret this slightly different.
Okay.
Because when I think of best game direction, I lean on like the outstanding creative vision in terms of like kind of like how you would say like a director in a film, like same kind of thing, like the vision of the game that you're. And for me, like, I mean, I haven't
In
played
terms of
it,
okay, good.
but the two that really stick out to me here are Alan Wake 2 and Spider-Man 2.
The only reason I didn't choose, actually, I would disagree because those games are just more of the same. You know what I mean? Like Spider-Man, like you just said it yourself. How is it outstanding creative vision when it's more of what they did twice already?
Well, I'll push back and say Alan Wake 2 is very different.
Not really. It's the same formula. They just put it in more of a.
Well, it's more of a horror game. It's not the
It
same.
is
at
more
all.
of a, but it plays the same. You had the flashlight. It's the same formula. You use the flashlight. You gun down the enemy.
Deborah, don't make me defend Alan Wake 2. You know that I'm still.
I'm just saying.
Remedy.
No, but I'm just saying that it is that though. It's you still use the flashlight to weaken the enemy, and then you shoot them, and it's like we did that already. Alan Wake 1. Yeah, there's different enemy types, and they evolve on that, but it's like that's we did that already. Same thing with Spider-Man. It's still Spider-Man. When you play a Spider-Man game, it still feels like that's not a negative. It's not a knock at the game. It's just there's nothing.
Okay.
They're not pushing boundaries in that direction.
So you're gonna vote for Tears of the Kingdom here?
Yeah, I'm voting for Tears of the Kingdom because they are, in my opinion, they're pushing the boundaries.
So I'm gonna tip my cap to Spider-Man 2 here. So I'm gonna vote for Spider-Man 2. So let's go next category. And I guess producer Jeff, you can just vote for whoever to get to the next category.
It doesn't have me.
Okay, very nice. All right, Deborah has to sign in real quick.
Okay.
So all right. So next up is best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. And the nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, or Marvel's Spider-Man 2. So Deborah, where are you leaning here for best?
I think I'm leaning. I think I'm leaning Alan Wake. It's between Alan Wake and Baldur's Gate for me. I think I might lean Alan Wake.
Okay.
I've heard mixed things about Phantom Liberty, storyline wise at least.
Yeah, right.
Final Fantasy. Again, I heard mixed things about that storyline wise. Spider-Man, I heard it's good actually, but
yeah, I think the narrative is really good. The ironic thing for me, and just to be honest, full disclaimer, is like, this is like a list of games I just haven't gotten to yet this year.
Yeah. But I guess
you know
enough.
I listen to things and I read things and I see things. So right now I'm leaning Spider-Man, but I could also go Alan Wake here. I've also heard the same things you've heard. I feel like about Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
About the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I might do Alan Wake here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do Alan Wake. I also know Baldur's Gate is like, people love the story for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, have you seen or did you know anything about Alan Wake 1?
That's probably
Yeah, I heard you should play Alan Wake 1 because it eases the back, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Although if it was nominated, I love the narrative of Starfield. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
I would have definitely loved to have seen it make it. Didn't, so. Well, we'll talk about Starfield as we.
This next one for me is a little difficult.
Best art direction for outstanding and creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. And the nominees are Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, or The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
I'll let you go first on this.
So for me, this is going to be one where I'm going to do process of elimination. I like the Pinocchio steampunk stuff, but it's not going to be Lies of P.
Okay.
And it's not going to be Zelda either. As much as I love Zelda, we all know that. I prefer some of the art directions, some of the older. That's just...
Okay.
So it's not going to be Zelda either. Which kind of leads me with Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Mario Wonder. I'm kind of leaning Hi-Fi Rush, but like I could also see myself voting for Mario Wonder here. I think that Mario Wonder's biggest claim to fame, I think, in my opinion, is its art direction. I think that it's a very gorgeous looking game with a lot of crazy visuals. I think that's what it sets it apart from other Mario games. So I'm gonna vote Mario Wonder. Yeah, I think I'm voting Mario Wonder.
Okay. Again, this was a difficult one for me. I'm between Mario Wonder and Alan Wake 2.
Okay.
Hi-Fi Rush. It's just a shell-shaded cartoon game, like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
but those games are timeless.
yeah, I don't know. Same thing with Tears of the Kingdom. Like it's
See, I don't think Tears of the Kingdom is a very pretty game.
no, that's what I'm. Oh, I don't think it's an ugly game. I don't. I think to me it's pretty. Like it's just, I guess the limitations of the Switch.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I do think it's a pretty game.
Okay. So what are you voting?
Best art direction. I think I go Wonder as well. Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Okay. You have to each vote. Okay, cool. Next up, best score and music. For outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and/or licensed soundtrack. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, or The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
I kind of wish Starfield was in this category.
Yeah.
Because again, I've only sat here and watched you play it, but every time I've come over and this music is pretty good.
Devroro, when I mean, we can talk about it whenever you want. I think Starfield was absolutely disgraced and snubbed in the Game Awards this year. Like it blows me away just to see it happen, because it's like I love Starfield. We'll talk about it next week, but like it's just like it's noticeable. Like you have the Game Awards, kind of like with the rest of the games media. It's really kind of hard to not point out a bias where it's like, yeah, you can send it to me, but I mean, I played Starfield, and I can tell you for a fact that the score of Starfield is incredible.
To be fair, I don't know the music for all these any of these other games except for Tears of the Kingdom.
So I'll say this: I think from what I've heard, I've enjoyed the music that I've heard from Final Fantasy 16, from Hi-Fi Rush. That's about it.
Yeah, so I can. These other two games could have great, like all these games could have great music.
I'll also give
You know what I
Alan
mean?
Wake 2 the benefit of the doubt. Remedy usually brings in like a band and they do some dope music.
Okay.
So I'm sure Alan
That's
Wake
what I'm
2,
saying.
I'm sure Alan Wake 2 has a phenomenal score. I've heard none of it.
This is something that we talked about earlier this year, where there's so many great games this year, where we're going to be upset by some of these nominations.
So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna vote Hi-Fi Rush.
Okay. I think I'm gonna, because of what I've seen from Hi-Fi Rush, music wise, it's a very music type game. I'm gonna go for Hi-Fi Rush as well.
Yeah. Next up, best audio design. Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. And the nominees are Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Alan Wake is eating.
Okay, so my first thought,
Remedy's.
thought number one, because again, we're going through these live. I don't think it's right for Dead Space Remake to
Because it's
remake.
a
straight up remake.
Okay.
There is no
But
differentiation. Resident Evil 4 is different because it's a whole different.
But they did overhaul the entire sound for.
I get that, but I don't think it's fair to be. I like Super Mario RPG. I don't think that game should be nominated. It's a remake of the same game. It won't be because it's after their cutoff, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
I think remakes. If it was a remaster, I would agree with you. But it's a full-on remake using old assets from. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's copying its original self, but it's a full remake. That's why I think it's.
So let me also tell you why I'm voting for Hi-Fi Rush. So out of all these games, Hi-Fi Rush is a game that its game design is audio, and that game obviously scored extremely well. It was a surprise smash hit for Xbox. And yeah, I mean, I'm not voting for Dead Space specifically out of principle. I don't think it should be nominated. Resident Evil 4's got some great sound design, but I mean, I'm gonna go Hi-Fi Rush here because I think if Hi-Fi Rush's sound design was bad, then the whole game would be, and that's clearly not the case.
All right, I'm gonna actually go Resident Evil 4.
Okay. All right. Next up, best performance awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and/or performance capture. Ben Starr from Final Fantasy 16, Cameron, I always Monahan, thank you, from Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Idris Elba, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. Melanie Liebert from Alan Wake 2. Neil Newbin from Baldur's Gate 3. Or Yuri Lowenthal from Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
I kind of wish I had the character they played.
So
Besides-
I don't know who Ben plays, but obviously Cameron plays Cal. Idris Elba plays that other character
Yeah,
from Cyberpunk.
himself essentially.
Melanie Liebert plays that cop. I forget what her name is
Yeah.
because I haven't played it yet. Neil Newbin plays in
Yeah.
Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it to Cameron Monaghan
For
Cal
Just,
Kestis. I think he does a really good job as Cal Kestis.
I'm gonna give it to Melanie Lippard.
Okay.
Melanie.
Innovation in accessibility. Recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. The nominees are Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6.
I don't know all the accessibility things in all these other games. However, if Forza Motorsport has the same accessibility stuff that Forza Horizon did, I'm voting for Motorsport.
I was actually going to say the same thing. I don't know all the facts for each of them, but I do know that something that a lot of the Xbox game studios do really well is that accessibility stuff.
Mhm.
Obviously, they have that accessibility controller that they've put out.
Yeah,
It's clearly something that's very important.
which is apparently hard to get. It's been a whole thing, especially with the canceling of third-party controllers. I've heard people complain.
Interesting. So yeah, I'm also going to vote for Forza. All right, next up. Okay. Games for Impact. For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. And the nominees are A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sonar, Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, that's that Breath of the Wild game, Terra Nil, and Venba. So
Damn, I know.
I have actually played Venba.
Okay.
It was on Game Pass,
All right.
and it was a very easy completion.
Okay.
Did
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I enjoyed the story of it.
Okay.
The gameplay I was not super interested in. I more so did it because it was kind of an easy 1,000 gamer score.
Did it impact you?
I mean, like I ended up feeling for the family because like it's kind of sad. I don't want. I mean, no one's gonna. But so the the dad passes and the mom is like, well, so he doesn't pass for a while, but so the mom basically struggles with her son growing up and like kind of like wanting to be away from his family and away from his culture. And so she kind of struggles with that. Towards the end of the game, her husband dies, and he realizes towards the end that like, damn, like family and culture is like really important. Shouldn't just. So I mean, I'm gonna vote for Venba because it's the game I played.
Okay.
But I would say it has a really nice message.
If I was just going for cover art alone, I would go for A Space for the Unbound. That's a really cool picture.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go for Chia
Okay.
because that's the only game I really know anything about
Okay.
in this list. Unfortunately.
All right, next up. Best ongoing game. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, or Genshin Impact. So, obviously, this is like the live service game award. I'm going to vote for Cyberpunk because they've really done a great job at turning themselves around from that awful launch a few years back.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, they got themselves to a point where they can put out Phantom Liberties and everyone is raving.
Yeah. I'm gonna vote the same. It was between that and Fortnite. I'm gonna go with Cyberpunk.
Okay.
I can see either one of them win.
All right, next up. Waiting for it to load. Best community support. Recognizing. Okay, we're going to talk about this one actually. Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and games updates / patches. And the nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 16, No Man's Sky. Now, Devroro, I find it really funny. So the Game Awards had the opportunity to do just funny, and they did it. Do you think it was a good call by them to nominate Destiny 2 for community support a week or 2 weeks removed from them laying off and firing all of their community support members.
And we did talk about this before the podcast, kind of. I don't think it's just if the game had good support all the way until 2 weeks ago. I mean, technically, it still does have good support. It's just their team is going down.
So, like,
you know what I mean?
if Destiny wins, do they who do they send up there?
Yeah,
There's no one there.
Yeah, there's no one there to give the award to.
They like Destiny 2 is the winner, and like no one comes up, and they just like someone trophy away. Like,
yeah, but I do think still. Go ahead, Jeff.
yeah. The thing is, like, I definitely get Jeff's point, and like I am tempted to vote for Destiny 2 just to prove a point. However, what if Bungie takes this award? Like, look at us, we have the like they hold it up like it's a championship. Like,
No,
oh, look at
for
us,
sure.
we're the here. Give me the belt.
I fired everyone, and we still have a great community.
Give me the belt. Look at me, I'm the champ. I'm Destiny 2. I'm Bungie. I'm the best community support ever. Look at me. That's what they're gonna do. So that's why I don't want to vote for them. But I mean, what do you want to do? Do you want to vote? We can vote in unison here because I mean, like,
No,
I don't really have an opinion outside of that.
I do though.
Okay.
I think Baldur's Gate 3, the same way I felt with when what was it? Elden Ring came out, where the community for me was I didn't even play the game, and the community got me into the game, and so like I'm gonna go for Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay. I will also. I'll give you the vote. All right. Next up.
Oh, this one we talked about, and this one's a little.
Oh boy. Best independent game for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. Deborah, can you please read that definition again?
For outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system.
Outside the publisher system?
Yeah. All these games fit that, right?
Oh, man. I mean, Cocoon, Dredge, Sea of Stars, Viewfinder, all excellent indie games. Dave the Diver is not a fucking indie. And I just have a lot of issues with the nominees. And for me, this year it goes beyond.
What makes them not what makes them? Are they owned
by a publisher?
Okay,
they are a game that was published under a publisher, and they are a subsidiary of said publisher. They are factually, by definition, not. It's not an indie. It's just not, and it's a really weird thing, and kind of like just it really shows a lack of like being out of touch with the games industry, in my opinion. Where it's like, this is not an indie game. Like, do you consider it an indie game because of its art style? Because it's got like that low res, like 16-bit or whatever art style? Is that what makes it an indie game for Jeff Keighley? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But it's especially disheartening because I look at the rest of these games.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and they're all phenomenal.
Yeah,
indie games.
I've heard great things about every single one of these games.
Cocoon, Dredge, Sea of Stars, Viewfinder. Yeah. So it's like.
And Dave the Diver too. Like I've heard it's a great game.
You understand that, but like I think it's a disgrace to the rest of the teams who have put these are all smaller studios who have put their money into it, and it's just like and their time, and like making games is hard, and as an indie studio, like you're one flop away from going under. So like I just think it's a real smack in the face for Dave the Diver to be on the list. And like again, there's nothing against the game itself. It's just crazy to me. So I'm gonna vote obviously for someone other than Dave the Diver.
Yeah, what are you voting for?
I'm leaning Dredge or Sea of Stars. Both of those games are really awesome looking. Everything I've watched.
I think Sea of Stars is your kind of game.
It is, but Dredge is also very up.
So yeah, Dredge seems really cool. So does Cocoon. I've heard great things about Cocoon.
I think I'm gonna vote for Sea of Stars. Although Viewfinder is a very you game.
Yeah, I'm voting for Viewfinder. Although Cocoon is another puzzle game I'm really interested in, but
Viewfinder seems. I'm voting Sea of Stars.
I think we all chose a different game for this.
All right, next up. Best debut indie game. For the best debut game created by a new independent studio. Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder.
It's funny Pizza Tower's on.
It's funny that Venba's on there.
This one I'm going to go for Dredge.
I'm also going to go Dredge on. Yeah. Next up. Best mobile game. For best game playable on a mobile device. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Honkai Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, or Terra Nil?
I'm gonna go for Honkai. The
Okay.
Hoyoverse games, you can't get away from them.
I'm going to vote Final Fantasy VII here. Because the gameplay I've seen looked pretty as far as mobile games. Best VR/AR game. And then for the best game experience, playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. And the nominees are Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR mode, or Synapse.
Now, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it fair to give it to Resident Evil VR mode?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's the one I want to give it to.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to vote for too. Synapse looks really cool.
Yeah, I heard Synapse is a great game, and that was actually the two that I was going between.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to vote for Resident Evil Village.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was even fair because it's a
Yeah, but it's a game that it's made in the VR space, so I mean it's an adaptation, it's an adaptation of the regular. So I think it can, yeah. Best action game. For the best game in the action genre, focus primarily on combat. Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. So for me, I would say I'm between Armored Core 6 and Hi-Fi Rush.
Okay.
I'm gonna vote for Hi-Fi Rush.
I'm voting for Remnant 2. Everything I've seen about Remnant 2 makes me want to play Remnant 2 with.
Okay.
So that's the one I'm picking.
Hell yeah, man. Next up, Best Action Adventure, aka my favorite genre. For the Best Action Adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. And the nominees are Alan Wake 2.
That's okay.
Spider-Man, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of...
I haven't seen much gameplay of Alan Wake 2, but this is a little surprising.
Well, I mean, it is an action adventure by definition. The first one was. I guess the second one, it's supposed to be more of a horror game.
Yeah, even the first one didn't feel... I guess it did.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it to, I think, Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Hmm.
It was that or Spider-Man.
I'm kind of torn here because I really want to give it to 4 of the 5. Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars, Zelda. Zelda brought Dungeon.
Kinda.
I would be okay with eliminating Resident Evil 4 and maybe Spider. So I'm kind of torn between Zelda and Star Wars. Again, ironically, 2 of my favorite fan bases.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Zelda here because as much as I do have issues with Tears of the Kingdom, I still think it's a phenomenal game. I think it's a 10 out of 10, and it is an action-adventure game. Like, that's what it does best. I'm voting Zelda. Got to vote Zelda for something. I haven't voted Zelda for anything. It's got to tell you something, right? It's a great year for games where it's like, man, I can really justify not voting for Zelda. Best RPG. For the best game design with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences, the nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy XVI, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, Starfield. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to run away with this one, unfortunately.
That's actually what I'm voting for.
I'm voting Starfield. It's the only thing that Starfield's been nominated for, which I think is a travesty. I think that this game is phenomenal. I think that some of the bigger media outlets didn't get it, and I've never felt so disconnected from the game's media, especially after finishing Starfield and going through 3 New Game Plus playthroughs, and like I at a loss for words on. So I'm absolutely voting for Starfield for best RPG. Is it a losing fight? Absolutely, but
no, I mean,
I'm gonna
vote for what you. Yeah.
No, I mean I'm just saying because I think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to clean. It's going to clean tonight at the game. Best fighting game. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat, the nominees are God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, or Street Fighter 6.
I'm gonna go with Mortal Kombat.
I kind of want to go Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 because I do love those kinds of fighting games, and I want the gameplay I've seen just looks really cool.
I'm still seeing finishers from Mortal Kombat, and I'm like, oh, that's gross.
See,
I
I'm
love
seeing
that.
finishers from Nickelodeon.
Oh,
All-Star
really?
Brawl.
I
Like
haven't seen.
Squidward getting annihilated. Fun.
Okay.
So I'm gonna vote Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. All right. Next up, best family game.
I just want to say before last year we were going through these, and they announced the winners, and even you were there. You were watching. You were like, I don't know if that game should have won. Like,
I think it's gonna happen again this year.
but no, this year there's so many great games that I'm going through. It's like anyone who wins, it's like okay, like I could see it.
Best family game. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform.
This is the Nintendo category.
Yeah, the yearly best Nintendo game category.
Yeah.
Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and the game that I'm voting for, Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Okay. I'm voting for Pikmin. So
Nintendo I really want to play Pikmin as well.
Again, everything I've heard about Pikmin, even like sales wise, and like I just love the Pikmin IP. I love Pikmin.
Yeah, I get that. I saw a tweet today, and I guess it was like a Pikmin towel that you can get from like the Nintendo World Store, and the person said, when life's got me down and I don't think I can do anything and I'm not going to amount to anything, I look at my Pikmin towel and it reminds me that I'll be okay. And it's like some really cute looking Pikmin looking at him like very supportingly.
Great.
Yeah, it was good. Next category, best sim strategy, aka another of Rome's favorite. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. And the nominees are Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, Cities Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, Pikmin 4. So my first initial thought is Cities Skylines 2 had a lot of problems a couple weeks ago. So very surprised to see it here. Again, kind of seems like a little out of touch on Jeff Keighley's part.
But no, I did hear it was a great game. It was just
I just heard there was a lot of issues.
Yeah,
terraforming issues and a bunch of problems. I heard it was broken. That's what I heard.
Okay. They put two. I heard that. So they put so much detail in the game that one of the reasons it was sluggish because the NPCs that walk around in these kind of simulation games, they all had individual teeth.
Okay.
And I was like, for them to render that for every little person in the game is like that's slowing your game down a lot. Gotcha. I was like, why do they have teeth? But I thought that was fun.
So this is a point of confliction for me, and it's one of the all-time like me problems.
Because you play 2 of these games.
I love 2 of these games.
Yeah.
/ franchises. Obviously I really like Pikmin and I like Company of Heroes, but for me this is a 2-horse race between Advance Wars and Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I want to pick here.
From the outside looking in, I think you enjoyed Advance Wars more than Fire Emblem.
Specifically engaged. Specifically engaged.
Yeah.
If you ask me to pick a franchise, I'm picking Fire Emblem.
Yeah. But I'm talking about between these 2 games.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote for Advance Wars 1+2.
I'm gonna go for Pikmin.
Jeff, just give Advance Wars the vote. Next up, best sports / racing. EA Sports FC 24, F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged, and the Crew Motorfest. I'm gonna go Forza Motorsport here. Okay. I don't really care about soccer or F1. The Hot Wheels stuff looked cool.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna go Forza Motorsport. The game just that game speaks to me more than the other.
I'm gonna go for Hot Wheels because I love the more chaotic arcade racing games.
Like the Forza Horizon.
Yeah, the Forza Horizon stuff, and like the stuff I've seen for Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 is it just looks great.
Okay. Next category.
I'm also glad the Crew's still around.
Yeah. Best multiplayer game. For outstanding online multiplayer, gameplay design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. And the nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, or Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
It makes me realize there's not that many great multiplayer games out this year. Like,
yeah, it's a really weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Like these are great games, but like in terms of multiplayer,
well, like usually this would be the Call of Duty spot. But Call of Duty is not nominated this year. I think it's one of the first years it hasn't been nominated. My gut is saying Party.
Okay.
Because I know how fun those games are. We've played Gang Beasts, which is basically like very similar. So like I get Baldur's Gate 3 and Diablo have that couch co-op type vibe, like the drop in, drop out, which is great.
Well, so does Party Animals.
Street Fighter 6, like I feel like I would just like stab someone if I was playing Street Fighter with them. So I don't know if Mario Brothers Wonder kind of similar to Party Animals, but I am actually going to vote Party Animals.
I still love playing Diablo with friends. That's
You're voting Diablo.
Yeah, I'm voting Diablo. Yeah.
For sure. I knew you were going to.
In terms of multiplayer, that's like one of my favorite games to play with other people.
Best adaptation. Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. The nominees are Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, Super Mario Brothers movie, and Twisted Metal. So, I mean, we could just go the easy route and say, like, definitely Super Mario. But, like, can we just, like, take a second to throw Gran Turismo in the trash?
It's actually, what do you mean?
It's terrible. Terrible movie.
No, it wasn't. Did you see it?
No.
I actually watched it. It wasn't, like, I didn't watch it in theaters.
It's like, oh, you think you could race, could play the video
I mean,
game?
it is based off the real story that happened. Like, I remember reading about the story in high school. Like,
yeah, so is Five Nights at Freddy's, apparently. That movie opens was based on a true story as well, so.
okay, but
Yeah,
like,
lucky you. You've been very blessed.
even at the end of the movie, they show like the real life people that it's based off.
I don't care.
I know you don't. It's a Sony thing, so that's why
No, that's not true because I love The Last of Us. So
Gran Turismo.
What's your point? I love The Last of Us.
It's
Phenomenal TV show.
I don't know. You just like to hate things. Great.
Mario, yeah, it is Mario, but Twisted Metal, I didn't see, but I heard it wasn't that great. Last of Us is very good.
Yeah.
But Mario Brothers, I was just smiling. I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to as well. It was between Mario's and Last of Us for me.
Yeah, same. Next up, most anticipated game. Recognizing an unannounced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming media forward. And the nominees are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaw, Tekken.
This is not for me personally. This is just what I see the community. It's between Final Fantasy and Hades. The hype for those two games are like pretty high.
So the big two for me are Final Fantasy and Star Wars. Okay. I'm very excited for both of those games.
Me personally, I would pick Star Wars Outlaws.
So you're voting Star Wars?
No, I don't think it's.
Well, we're not predicting. You're just voting for what you want to. So if you're like, what game are you, Devroro, most excited for?
For me personally, it's Star Wars Outlaws, but I don't know if that should be like.
Vote for it.
But I don't think that's the most anticipated game. If somebody asks me what is the most anticipated game, it's not even like
what is my your most anticipated.
That's not what it's asking though. It's recognizing. It's not for me. It's for what I think is what I recognize as the most anticipated game coming out. Like,
right, but everybody's being asked.
Okay, so for example,
what is your most anticipated game?
No, I think it's what is the most anticipated game, not what is my most anticipated game. What is the most anticipated game? Because last year, my most anticipated game, or before Tears of the Kingdom came out, that would have been Tears of the Kingdom. But Elden Ring won every year, and I was like, that is the most anticipated game. It was most anticipated for 3 years in a row. Everybody wanted this game, so I think it's not for what my most anticipated
Breath of the Wild
game is.
Won that year.
No, it was Elden Ring won 2 years in a row, 2 or 3 years in a row.
Anyways, well, regardless, my vote I think would align for both mine and the community.
Okay.
Because I'm voting Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, it's either that or Hades 2.
Although I'm very, very excited for Star Wars Outlaw.
Yeah.
Extremely excited.
Me personally, it's Star Wars, but for the most anticipated game, I think it's going to be. I'm going to say Final.
Next up, Content Creator of the Year. Do I know any of these people? Let's see. Iron Mouse. No. People Make Games. No. Quackity. No.
Wait, what?
Content Creator of the Year.
Okay, it gave me something else. I got to go back to.
And Cypher. I haven't seen. I don't know any.
Forest Cardinals.
Well, give me the weird. Give me the vampire chick, I guess. I don't know any of these people, so
I'm just gonna hit next because
I'm gonna hit vote for Iron Man. Give me the vampire chick. I'll take the vampire. All right. Best esports game. for the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates. Somewhere Nintendo is shaking. It's like, what do you mean tournaments? What do you mean?
People play our game,
and then you can't sell water at tournaments. What's wrong with you? And the nominees are Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, PUBG Mobile, and Valorant.
I think I'm gonna go with Counter-Strike 2, just because like all the hype that came. With, like,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm gonna
there's
go with that.
finally a Counter-Strike 2.
I'm gonna go with that. Next up, best esports athlete. Once again, I don't know who any of these people. Well, maybe I do. Let's see. So we got Lee Faker saying Yuck.
Oh, I've heard of Faker.
I've heard of Faker. Or let's just do the nicknames. They're way cooler. Zaiwu.
Oh no. Okay.
Demon 1.
I've heard of Demon 1.
Hydra. I've heard of Hydra. Ruler. And Imperial Hal.
I'm gonna go with the person I've heard the most about, and that's Faker out of all these. It also tells you the game they play underneath too, if that matters to you.
It's like, oh, should I just vote for the game that I play? Which would be Hydra. Well, Hydra's a cool name. I'm gonna vote for her. Okay.
Here we go again.
Best esports team. The Evil Geniuses.
Heard of them.
Fnatic.
Heard of them as well.
Gaiman Gladiators. JD Gaming. And Team Vitality.
You would think I play Valorant with all the people, like all the teams and stuff. Maybe Valorant's just that big in esports, but I'm gonna go with Evil Geniuses because I love that name and I've heard of them.
I'm gonna go with Fnatic because they're the ones I've heard.
Okay.
All right, next up, best esports coach.
I'm just gonna skip it.
The esports coach judged to be the most outstanding for performance and conduct in 2023. Potter, Zonic, Gunba.
Good luck.
Jeff? How do you pronounce that? Oh, they just say it spelled out. Okay. And then home.
I don't know.
I'm
gonna skip this.
I'm gonna go for Christine Potter. I was thinking, yeah. Best esports event. Once again, Nintendo's like, what do you mean esports event?
Event?
Like, events? What do you mean? There's no Smash Brothers game coming out this year.
We released the game. End of story.
That's it. No, you play it at home by yourself, maybe with a brother or sister, and that's it. No more. Best esports event. 2023 League of Legends World Championship, Blast TV Paris Major 2023, Evo 2023, International Dota 2 Championships, or Valorant. I mean, I guess I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Valorant just because
I'm gonna go Evo. I mean, that's the one that I always hear about. That's the fighting game mecca. So I'm gonna go with. So we have to go back to Game of the Year real quick. This is the last one. All right, Game of the Year, recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. All right, so here's the thing, right? One of these games for me just doesn't belong to almost like an extreme degree, where people are gonna be like, "Rome, you're overreacting." I can't fathom how Super Mario Brothers Wonder is in the game. Like, okay. So I think Resident Evil 4 is a phenomenal game, and I would not put it in my top 6 for the year. But this is a remake, and it's a completely different. It's like,
but again,
it's not a straight remaster. It is a remake every possible way.
Okay.
It doesn't play the same. It doesn't look the same. Like, it has the same art style, like art design, like ideas, but like the story's different to an extent. Like,
so because
it's not the same game.
Because it's completely different.
It's not like they threw a coat of paint on it. Like, it's a new game with new gameplay and new story. Like, it does not play the way the original.
But you don't count Dead Space into that category.
No, because that's more of a coat of paint to modernize.
But it was more than that though. They added a lot. They added voice for the whole, like, the main character's voiced in this with the original character. Like, it's
I don't view it as enough. Resident Evil 4, trust me, I've played both. I love both.
Yeah.
It's not it's not. Um like just like Resident Evil 3 remake and 2 remake, like they're just not the same. I love Resident Evil 4 though, so like I can justify it being in the final 6. Mario Wonder for me, I cannot. Um I think Final Fantasy 16 should have been there instead.
Have you seen enough
instead.
gameplay? I think it's something you have to.
I've seen enough gameplay.
If it's in the, I just feel like if it's nominated for Game of the Year, there has to be something about it.
So here's the thing, and maybe I'm off on this, but what I've read from the reviews and seen from the reviews is it's a 9 out of 10. It's a 2D Mario game, which means it's great. But like none of the reviews really sell me on, like, man, if you've never, like, this is the quintessential 2D Mario game you need to play. Like, this is a phenomenal game. Like, I just haven't, nothing has impressed me in that way. And it could just be because I don't care that much about 2D games, like 2D side scrollers.
I think it was like,
that's a possibility. But for me, in a year as packed as it is, I can't justify Mario Wonder making it here when games like Final Fantasy 16 and Starfield, those are the two big ones, along with like Star Wars and Hogwarts Legacy. Like, those are 4 games that for me, in my mind, like, way outclass Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Like, I feel like at this point we're just putting it in there because it's a Mario. Like, that's how I feel about Mario Brothers Wonder being. Is that, like, it's a Mario game, so it's definitely going to be nominated. And it's like, I don't know. That's just the vibe I get. And it's not that it's a bad game. It's okay to be a great game, but not hit that, like, phenomenal level. But I don't know. To me, I just think there's a lot of major snubbing going on with that. And
this is the thing I saw, and I'm just going to read this is a Game Informer article.
Okay.
Nintendo reveals Super Mario Bros. Wonder is the fastest selling game in the series.
Yeah, but to be fair, all of Nintendo's franchises are doing that. Pokemon was like that with Scarlet and Violet. Tears of the Kingdom was like that with Zelda. I think Nintendo is just red hot.
Yeah, but also
I think they're doing their best business.
They're very different from previous games. You know what I mean? And they bringing people
Pikmin
in.
4 was the fastest selling Pikmin game. Like, yeah. All like Fire Emblem Engage, I think, was the best selling, fastest selling. I think I'm not 100% on that one, but
I don't know. I do think if it's up here, there's a reason.
Well, for me, I'm automatically eliminating my vote. It's not getting voted for.
Yeah, that's fair.
So for me personally, the two that I'm left with is Resident Evil and Zelda.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna vote Zelda.
All right.
Now that could also be because, I mean, I love Tears of the Kingdom. It's a 10 out of 10 game. But also, I mean, Zelda wins another game of the year. I guess I get to put that in my cap and just be like, hey, look, man, Zelda, best game of all time. When I'm in the Discord trolling and I say One Piece is mid as fuck, and Jeff's like, ooh, Zelda's mid as hell. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's won a lot of game of the years. Here they all are. I like to have that ammo.
Before Baldur's Gate 3, I thought Zelda had it as a runaway.
So, yeah.
Until Baldur's Gate came out, and I was like, oh, this is... I only played an hour of Baldur's Gate, and I was hooked. I was like, yeah, this is a game.
So, like, I think Baldur's Gate is going to... I do think that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to vote Zelda.
Okay.
I love Tears of the Kingdom. Out of the games here, out of the 6 here, Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite game this year. By the way, I just noticed Octopath Traveler 2. 0 nomination. That's a crime. Not even for best RPG. That's what we call criminal activity.
I'm gonna go back to the best RPG and just look at the what games they had. Because again, this is a year, like, it's all great games. You know what I mean? Yeah, mm-hmm. Final Fantasy, Baldur's Gate 3.
For RPG, yeah. Final Fantasy on there?
Yeah,
it's not really an RPG. It's an action adventure game.
It's 16.
That's what I'm saying. It's not an RPG. It's an action adventure. So that's a very weird nomination. Now
that Starfield, and Lies of P. I feel like
Lies of P is not. That's a Souls-like.
Lies of P. I mean, I guess it has RPG elements.
That's more of an action.
It has RPG elements in the way you upgrade your.
But
weapon
nowadays,
and
all
like
games have RPG elements. Spider-Man 2 has RPG elements. So, like, what you level up in it and you use your skill points to get.
Yeah, but
what are we talking about?
Would you say that Elden Ring is an RPG? Because Lies of P plays a lot like Elden Ring.
No, I wouldn't. It's more of an action game.
I mean, okay. I disagree, but they're both action games. I agree with that part, but I mean, I think they're also RPGs. Like,
But again, I think like the Souls-like aspect is what makes. When you think of those games, what is your number one thing that comes to mind? You think of RPGs when you think of Elden Ring?
yeah,
I think of
personally,
Souls-like. I think of Dark Souls. I think of the From Software lineage of action games.
Oh
when I
yeah,
think of
Souls
Elden
like is just like a gameplay type. I think
Right, of
RPG is
action
like
games, of action games. We can agree to disagree. That's fine.
I don't agree with that, but
That's not to say it's a bad thing.
No,
I'm just
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
like, to me, it's an action game. Even if
Okay.
it has RPG elements. All games have RPG elements.
You think probably
So you're saying it's just those two games? I'm going to assume.
like
Well, wait.
70,
So
30?
my next question is, ready for this? Who posted the poll? 'Cause I know Spawnwave. Okay. I think Spawnwave generally is more of a PC focused crowd. So that's the type of question. Like, it all depends on who you ask. Like, if and like it happens a lot with these polls. Um. So I'm going to assume that Spawnwave's mostly PC based is going to go Baldur's Gate. And I'm going to assume that it's probably like 65-35 Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I agree with those percentage. Okay.
Oh right, Spawnwave does like more Nintendo stuff because I vote in their YouTube polls all the time,
Okay.
and the Nintendo stuff always does well in there.
Okay.
Duh. I got mixed up with it. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, my vote's gonna go for Zelda here. A lot of phenomenal games, including one game that should not be, but that's just my opinion. So I'm voting Zelda. And I'm guessing you said you're voting Baldur's Gate.
Oh yeah, I voted for Baldur's.
Devero's just mad because he hasn't finished Zelda.
It's my second favorite of the list there. Like,
Just say you're mad because you haven't finished Zelda yet.
I'm not mad.
Zelda's
I'm
beaten.
content.
You're beaten by Zelda.
I'm content. I get content with games.
You didn't beat Zelda. Zelda beat you.
I'm content with games.
You were
I
just
know
done.
when to put a game down. I don't play games for an extra 60 hours to collect all the doodads. To get all the Mhm. I don't want to kill myself playing Assassin's Creed because I've been here a lot longer than I should have been.
I'll have you know that I enjoy video games.
I didn't have a conundrum putting down. What was the game I made you stop playing? I was like, Jerome, just hang up.
AEW fight
AEW
forever.
fight forever. You were like, you were ready to kill. You were like, I'm defeated.
I was like, I fucking
Put it away.
this game's terrible.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do our game of the our game of the year like stuff. We're gonna do like our top 5 games of the year, like among other things. And I'm gonna throw out the worst game of the year award that I've played, and it's fucking AEW fight forever. Slap the sticker on
The other
case.
nominees are what? Golem.
Well, I'm saying games I've played.
Oh, okay.
Well,
They should have a worst game of the year award.
They should. It's like the ultimate loser.
It's like a poop. Yeah, it's a poop trophy.
Right.
Yeah.
For the game of the year, I'm gonna reload it. I've
Yeah.
definitely played Zelda. Definitely played Resident Evil.
You're playing Spider-Man
through
currently.
completion. I'm currently playing Spider-Man. Um,
For me, I've only played 2 of the games on the list.
yeah. So instead of fully played, I've
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. I definitely need to play more games for sure.
Devroro for sure. The problem with me is that a lot of these games are very long, and you'll see it when we do our like end of the year recap. Like this is the year I've played the fewest games I've ever played, but it's just because the scope of the games. Like I played Starfield for 2 months. I played Zelda for 2 months. I played Octopath Traveler 2 for 2 months. That's half the year, right?
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that I played that for a month, so that's 7 months out of the year, right? Um,
No, yeah, we had a lot of long.
yeah, so I
good
completed
games, though.
out of these 6, I've completed Zelda. I did not buy Mario Wonder because I'm still budgeting a little bit, so that's on my Christmas list. So
Yeah.
somebody can get that for me. I've completed Resident Evil 4, loved it. Playing Spider-Man 2 right now, really liking it. Baldur's Gate 3, I was waiting for Xbox physical copies. That's coming. And then Alan Wake 2.
Eventually.
Would like a physical copy. They announced a physical copy, it's pre-ordered right away. Until then, though, I'm just going to probably wait for a. I'm not spending hours. Not right now, especially when there's all these other games I would need.
But you'll spend $60 on DLC. It's not even
For a
that
social
good.
experience. Social experience.
Social experience?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, if Forrest asks you...
They didn't even show up. You said earlier, they didn't even show up.
Well, some of them did. Not all of them. Some of them.
They're like $60 for a DLC?
Well, to be fair, some of them have kids now. So maybe we're just getting older. That's what it is. All right, well, that is the Game of the Year, or the Game Awards nominees, and our votes and predictions for them. Stay tuned, because in December, I think it's December 7th or 8th, we will be doing a live watch along. I think we'll just probably have that week's podcast be like a live.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, I mean, hell of a week in game. A lot going on. A lot of stuff to do. So much to do to talk about this week that I was working on the Starfield review and was just like, Jeff will kill me because we'll be here till 11 o'clock. So, not doing Starfield tonight.
Call.
And that was a very good call because it's currently 9:52. So we're actually wrapping up around the right time. But next week, it's going to be the Starfield. Any final thoughts on the Game of the Year before we get out of here? All right. Well, that's going to do it for us here at the Game Room Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us here tonight. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe on your way out. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us here in the chat tonight. Thank you to the Doge. Thank you, Ty. Really appreciate you guys coming through. Make sure you, like I said, subscribe. It's a big week of content for us here on the channel. We did the Game Room today with a bunch of AEW content coming up this week. It's Full Gear weekend. We will be doing our Dynamite review on Thursday, our Rampage Collision probably watch along on Friday, followed by our Full Gear watch party on Saturday. So a lot of content coming up. It is. Curly's order will be placed within the next few days for you, Jeff. Be sure to follow us on social media. Follow us on Twitter. Both myself and Jeff. You cannot follow Devroro. He does not want to be followed.
Correct.
Do not follow him. Correct. What if someone did follow?
Don't.
You don't want to find it. Great. Join the Discord, and till next time. See you later.